Hey up, right, we're back to the BSA today. Now one of the first questions that everyone asked me when I introduced the bike to the channel was, what are you going to use for luggage? I've got something planned. Now I'm not going to be using the OEM BSA bags. We had them on the press bike that I had for a couple of weeks. Nice bags. Certainly wide enough, but we found for our purposes they weren't tall enough to hold the bits and pieces that we generally carry around with us, namely a travel tripod. Also, we tend nowadays, especially now Paula's travelling with me on bikes more, to go and do sort of 2 or 3 days shopping at a time on the bike, just because we enjoy it, basically. Parking's easier, it's just an easier experience. And we also found that with a standard carrier bag, although it will fit into the OEM bags easily, there isn't enough height and we couldn't fasten the bags up properly. So I've got an alternative to that bag which will work with the original BSA pannier rails. A very good fixing lockable system. That's the direction I've decided to go on. Now, I ordered these before the bike arrived. Nice quality, not such a nice price. I do think they're quite expensive, but that's par for the course nowadays. Now, I've taken all the fasteners out of the little plastic bag that they came in. I thought there were some instructions that the fasteners were wrapped in, but it turns out there weren't instructions at all. But the bag was so flimsy that I thought I would just put them in a little Tupperware container to keep them all in one place while I do the filming. And we've got the 2 rails. It's a big box with not an awful lot in it, really. Now, I'll just unwrap one of these. I won't do both of them. What you have is, I've got to say, it's a very well made, small pannier rail. The design is probably quite unusual to what a lot of people are used to seeing, but there's a reason for that, because this accepts a particular type of fastening system, which is the fastening system that I've decided to go ahead with. They've been nicely powder coated, flawlessly actually, in black. It's a glossy black. As I say, they look well made. They were £160. I'm struggling to see where you get £160 for 2 of these and a few fasteners, but like I say, that tends to be what we have to put up with nowadays with a lot of things. Now, there were no instructions in the box. I've had a look online on BSA's website. I can't find any instructions there either. I think this is going to be fairly simple and straightforward, if I'm honest, so instructions probably are not necessary, but it would have been nice to have something to refer to. So I'm fitting these blind to all intents and purposes. Let's get on with it. Now, I'm just going to pause the video here for a moment. As I said in the introduction, there were no instructions for fitting these particular pannier rails, although it is a fairly simple and straightforward job. And I've come across this before, especially with pannier rails that are sort of constructed from welded tubing and rods. These things are made up in a jig. The problem is the heat generated by welding them together often distorts them, so there is a bit of manipulation often required to actually get them to fit. Once they're fitted, they're perfect, there's no problem. I've never found one that won't fit with a bit of manipulation and rethinking, and that's what happened on this particular installation. The initial way I tried actually fitting these rails by attaching the 2 bolts at the front first failed. It didn't work. These particular pannier rails also double up as a rear mudguard stay, and I actually found the best sort of way around of doing this is to loosely fasten the rear fasteners on to the rearmost part of the mudguard first. And once I'd worked that out, really, it was all plain sailing. Now, I've left the faux pas in, because at the end of the day these are instructional videos. It will be easy to edit them out and, you know, look real clever like I got it right first time, but that's not really what these videos are about. It's partly about showing you the thought processes that you go through when you're doing these kind of installations as well. So I would just like to say there wasn't a problem with these pannier rails. They're pretty much par for the course with all pannier rails. It was just a matter of finding out the best way to fit them in the absence of instructions. Right, looking at these, it seems to me that they replaced this sort of rear fender stay on the back of the bike here. So it looks like to get at the fasteners to actually take that off and fasten these on, we're going to have to take the seat off. That's fairly simple with this bike. Let's get that out of the way. First thing we need to do is remove the side panel. This is just the sort of rubber fastening type ones that go into these plungers here. Fairly simple and straightforward. I'm just going to go and put this somewhere safe. It's gloss black paint, and gloss black paint marks very easily, so yeah, we don't want to be damaging anything. Here there is a little blue puller. Pull that up and it releases your seat, so we can now see what we're working with here. Again, I'll just go and put the seat somewhere safe. We don't want it damaging. Now, looking at those, the TX fasteners all round. So I'll get my little hand kit out. As I say, this looks like a fairly simple and straightforward job to me. I can't see any major hassle with it. Now, the panniers are on order. They're supposed to be coming this week. I don't think they're going to arrive in time for me filming. For Friday's video, I need to film it on a Wednesday. I think the chances of it arriving early enough on Wednesday for me to film the full review and fitting are very slim. So we're just going to get this done today, and then it'll probably, the follow-up with the actual panniers themselves will be next week. I'm guessing that's how it's going to go. These are quite yeah, they're not too bad. Now, I have sort of had a look at this. Underneath here we have quite a substantial metal frame, so this is all very solid. It's going to take the weight easily. I think it's attached to the frame of the bike somewhere. I'm not quite sure where as yet. Let me just make sure that this is in shot. Yes, it is. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to centre the camera on this area. That's a bit better. Right, so we've loosened all these off. Yeah, I don't know what it is about TX fasteners, but the keys always seem to bite into them for some reason, more so than you get with a... Actually, they're not TX. I should have my glasses on really, but Paul has put them somewhere safe. It's the way they're cut. They look like a TX, but actually they're not. I don't know what it says. What is that? Oh, that's strange. I've got a full kit here, yet that is odd. These are actually definitely it's strange because it doesn't appear to be a standard Allen key size. We'd No, that's too small. That doesn't fit. No, that's not a proper fit. It says H5 on it. It's H4. That's a H6. Yeah, a H6 is too big. H5 is too big. And a H4 is too small. The only thing that fits in properly is a T30, which yeah, I really should have my glasses on, but they've been moved and I can't find them. Right, so carefully remove these. Actually, I can leave that one in while I just undo this one. I'll have a proper look at these. That is odd because these are definitely Allen screws. Let me just go and check my other kit. Yeah, that's weird. I've never come across that before. The H5 from my other kit, from my Draper kit, fits in fine. But the H5 from this kit doesn't. It's nowhere near. And I can actually see a difference in size. That is weird. Never come across that before. Anyway, what we've got here now then, these are going to fasten onto the bike like that. And I can see already there's going to be a bit of difference there. We're going to be careful. I mean, I don't think there's a bit of a gap. See how much flexibility there is in this. Now, in the kit, we've got 4 replacement Allen screws. No problem. We've got four plain washers and 2 spring washers, which I would imagine will be for this fastening down here. So we've also got some spare washers in this kit that we've taken out. No, we haven't. Yeah, we have. But I think they were at the back bit. So yeah, there simply aren't enough washers to go around now. It does in the instructions make reference to using additional spacers, but there are no additional spacers with the kit. So I'm presuming you have to source them yourself if need be. I'll put a little bit of rust proofing on that. And a little bit on the back of this plate. I'm going to let that dry out. Right, so let's go ahead and get this fitted. Now there were no washers. I've rust proofed this on both sides, by the way, because it is an area that's reasonably inaccessible for cleaning, so it is likely to accumulate debt, etc., that will hold moisture, which is something we don't want. So we'll just put these on finger tight. Clear there's going to be a little bit of teasing required to get this into position. There is a fair bit of flex in it, so we should be okay. What I'm going to do with these, as I say, I'm working quite blind on this really. We do need a little bit of space here, that's obvious. So I'm going to put a washer, I'll move the camera around. I'm going to put a spring washer and a washer behind here. Don't worry, it's not going anywhere because I've got those threads on properly at that side. It just requires a bit of pressure. Time like this you get to see just how organised I really am. That's not it. Oh, these are different size. Okay. Not that one. A little bit too much. Right, so I'm gonna make it with all different sizes, isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't line up. Doesn't line up great, I've got to say. But get this started. Right, yeah, we're in there. So now get this top one in, if we can. Yeah, I found in here that nothing's really lined up, which is a bit of a ball ache. Now, if we put them out, put enough upward pressure on that. It's still not wanting to go in. Oh, that's just great, isn't it? Now we should be able to get that in at that. Yeah, it's just a bit of trial and error with these things. The threads, none of the threads are completely lining up. Still not lining up. But it's important to get these in. So that you're not damaging the threads. Jesus. I think we're in. Seem to have that many. See, this is the problem. Because nothing lines up properly. The threads are not going in straight. And especially with this Okay then. Now these are definitely not engaging right. This is all a bit frustrating. Right, it looks to me like because this thread wouldn't go in straight, it's just damaged the beginning of the thread on here, so just using what this is, I think it's an M5, just cut that damage out. On the beginning of that thread. I mean, this is going through really easy, so it's obviously done that. I'll just clear out any rags that might have been caused by that. I mean, this isn't actually taking any metal out, it's just cleaning that thread. It might actually have been maybe thread lock, although I didn't see any evidence of any on the right, that looks fair. Let's see what we've got here now. Yeah, and that's going in fine. So that's what it was. It had just, obviously, because it had gone in at an angle, because that rack wasn't straight. Which, I mean, I've come across things like this before with fitting pannier rails. It's not that unusual. It's just annoying. So the only problem is, of course, are we going to run into the same issue with the screws? So if we just get these started off with my fingers. So if we just do these bit by bit now. And ease. We've got plenty of thread in there now. So we're putting even pressure on this rack all the way around that way. Right, well, actually almost got to the bottom of the thread there. And looks like we've done it. So yeah, it looks to me like get this one threaded on first. Not solid as a rock. That's right, so time to move on to the other side, and hopefully we're not going to have these issues with the other side. Just put that there, just put that there to sort out focus. So I'll just give this other one a dab either side with a bit of rust proofing compound. We'll leave it there to set by the time we've got this off. Yeah, so These are 5mm hexes. I don't know why the 5mm didn't fit from my other kit. I've never come across that before, but it does actually look slightly larger, so strange. So it's the same procedure on this side. Remove this stay and just put it somewhere safe. You never know, you might want to put it back on one day. If they bring out a new improved Gold Star in the future and you want to be able to just swap this rack across, you can. Right, so that one off. That. Yeah, it's always worth having a tapping dice. I can't actually remember a time when I didn't have one, because you do come across things like this occasionally where there's a slight bit of damage to a thread that stops you threading it in properly, and rather than just ramming the fastener home and hoping for the best, it's always better to just carefully recut it. So we'll do the same on this one. As I say, these additional washers in this pack, I'm guessing now, they are there to give you a little bit more space if you need it. So we know now what they're for. So let's get this one started off. Actually, there's a problem with this thread as well. Is there? No, there isn't. It's going in. Right. So yeah, obviously they put some extra washers in there for you to be able to pack it out if need be, which we don't know that we've got away with that totally yet. I think the danger is that it may pull the subframe over slightly. I can't see it, to be honest, but that might be where they put some. Yeah, so if you do it this way, if you get the back one in first, get that thread started, because that's going to be the most troublesome one if you've got these two in first. And then if you hold it off, you can get a clear run at the thread. Even though this is at an angle, you've got a clear run at both of those threads, so you can pull it in evenly. So that's that lesson learned. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to have some proper instructions, but that's what I'm here for, isn't it? To figure these things out for everybody. So you can come back to this wonderful platform that is YouTube when you run into difficulties and find out how to do it. Yeah, I mean, there is enough flex in this assembly. It's not a problem. Yeah, I was starting to wonder if this rail was a lot of junk, to be honest, but it's not. It's just You come across these issues, especially with pannier rails, because you know the tubular construction, and there's a lot of scope for things being out of whack. So I'm just looking at that from the back. Everything's nice and straight, it all lines up well, no problems. I'm quite happy with that. So we'll get the seat and the side panel back on, and we'll have a look at what we've got. Right, what I've done off camera, I decided to put those additional washers in. So we've got 2 washers, standard washers, and a spring washer at the back here. As I say, these don't come with instructions, but there is some guidance which refers to using spacers, which I suppose a washer is a spacer, and it tells you to use the additional ones if required. So yeah, because it was still having to pull that in a little bit, which isn't the reason these wouldn't line up, by the way, that's a completely different issue. But to make sure that we're not pulling it in too far, we want the panniers really to be as far out as we can possibly get them, so they're not interfering with anything round here to a degree. So I just quickly took them off and put the extra washer in on both sides. Now, just before I put the seat and the side panel back on, I'll just explain how these take the weight of the luggage on the bike. The weight is taken by this bracket here. This is basically just a stay. You've got quite a substantial metal frame under here, and as you can see, you know, there is no movement. It is all very solid, but the main weight is taken by these 2 here, not this. So if you have a look under here and you see that you know, that frame ends, and then it's just the plastic of the rear mudguard, don't worry, the rear mudguard is not taking the weight of the panniers. It's this bracket here that's taking the weight of the panniers. These are basically just here as an additional support, a stay if you like, to keep everything in line when your panniers are fitted. These are not designed to take the weight, and they don't take the weight, it's all taken by this. Right, so I can go ahead, and it's starting to rain, and put the side panels on. So press it in place at the bottom first. Make sure your hands are clean when you're handling these, because, as I say, grit, etc. on gloss black paintwork that might come off your hands is not a good thing. And then we can just put the seat back on. One thing I will bring to your attention with this seat, first of all, they put a clear film on the tank here to protect the tank from the front of the seat rubbing, which is a nice touch. I like that. We've also got 2 hooks at the rear of the seat here. Now, the Royal Enfields don't have this. This is something that I've seen on the Triumphs, but not the Royal Enfields. And these hook into this part here, which means when I can get it lined up, there it is. Yeah, I've never had trouble getting this bill. There we go. Which means the seat's solid all the way down. If you do that with a Royal Enfield seat, the whole thing bends upwards because of the way they're fastened on. So it's a nice touch, that I like that. Now, these racks are designed for the Click Fix system, which I think is a German patent. This is not the bag I'll be using. This is an old bag that I've had for quite some time on the Interceptor. Simply clicks in place and it's very secure. It's also lockable, so it can't be taken off the bike by unauthorised persons. As soon as those new bags arrive, rest assured, I'll be showing them to you in great detail. So there you have it, a neat, unobtrusive pannier rail. I think that's one of the nice things about it. When you haven't got bags on it, it's not screaming at you and in your face. It blends in with the bike quite well. I'm looking forward to showing you the luggage. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this and my other videos, and in doing so helping to support this channel. I really do appreciate it. I'd also appreciate it if you would leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber, especially if you want to see that upcoming luggage. I will of course be back on Friday, so until then, please ride safely and I'll see you soon.